TV. This is Obidient Women, and I am your host, Sharon Enemchuku. On today's show, we have with us Mr.
Pikachu.
And the ever beautiful, glowing
Jessica.
Okay. So on this show, we talk about how the involvement of women in this election or in the support of Mr. P2B is crucial, and we look at the roles that women have been playing so far, their contributions, and how it has actually moved or pushed the Obidient movement. Okay, on today's topic, we're looking at the topic that says from consumption to production, how it affects women. You know how our principal, Mr. P2B, has said that he wants to take Nigeria from a consuming state to a producing state. So we're going to be analyzing in a bit how that affects women and how that applies to women, because we know that for you to be a part of politics or for you to even contest in any political position, it costs money.
Yes.
And one of the major reasons why women have not been a part of our government or have not been really involved is because of the cost. And where is the cost coming from? It's because they can't afford it. It's because it's beyond their budget, or it's beyond what they are capable of financially. So we're going to be looking at how what Mr. P2B plans to do for Nigeria economy is going to affect women. First of all, we're going to look at the finances. We're going to take it back to an average Nigerian home. Okay. And we look at the average Nigerian home and we see how women are, they are the caregivers in the home, and how they just provide for the basic needs of the family. We see them take care of, we see them go for grocery shopping, we see them take care of basic amenities of the home. But when it comes to the bigger picture, it usually lies on the head of the family, who is the man. And that alone, a woman like that, in a setting like that or in a situation like that, will not be able to partake in government elections or partake in anything that has to do with politics. So we are going to look at how Mr. P2B plans to do that. Okay, then we're also going to analyze what he did when he was governor of Anambra State. Remember, when he was the governor, we had 40% representation of women in his government, in his administration, and we see how that just changed things. So first of all, I have a question, because we don't have Mr. P2B on the show with us yet. Okay. I'm going to use the both of you to just get a feeling of what you think Mr. P2B is going to do exactly. Okay. We know that man has a lot up his sleeves, but I'm going to be asking you a question. First of all, we already stated that he wants to take Nigeria from a consuming state to a producing state. How do you think he intends to do this for the women? I mean, when it concerns politics. I mean, do you think that he's going to reduce the cost of partaking in these elections, or is he going to increase the amount of money that is being paid to women in different workplaces? What do you have to say, Pikash?
I thought
I wanted to get you all guys.
I thought the question was going to be for Jessica anyway.
I was actually telling him to answer because I wanted to know your own perspective first.
Okay.
Like you dance up against you.
It's all right.
Okay.
It's all right. Okay. Our principal is known for that statement, taking Nigeria from consumption to production. And now we are trying to relate it to women now. Yeah. Okay, first of all, what is consumption? It's the absorption, or eating, or spending, or using and using without producing.
Yeah.
Okay. And virtually everything that we do in Nigeria is consumption. We just consume and we barely produce. Okay. So P2B coming in now and saying that he's going to take Nigeria from consumption to production, it's going to benefit the women. Okay, I remember in the past where in the villages, our women were very creative and they produced baskets and different sorts of things, okay, and later they can sell it. and make money from it. P2B's emergence, and if he eventually wins, would help in going back to the grassroots, going back to the women, the labor, okay, and skills. People will begin to hone their skills again and go back to producing instead of just consuming. The women are going to be more creative and more skillful, and this time around they will have to think out of the box. And some of the things that we import into Nigeria would no longer be needed, okay, because our people would start producing them. And of course, when we start producing, we begin to earn a living, and people get other sources of income, and in such manner would also grow the economy. And don't have to rely always on what can be gotten from outside our country.
But I object to what you said. Not like I object. I just wanted to clear the air on what you said. You said that women will become more creative on how to make money and everything, right? But I want you to know the statistics of things now, or the status quo of things now. For example, let's take the private sector. When you see a woman in a private sector, when you see a woman working, most of the time, she is not being paid the same job. Okay, let me use you as an example. The same job that you would do and I would do, they will pay you higher than they will pay me because I'm a woman.
That's still in effect in this century.
It is. I assure you it is. Although I see that most industries are beginning to have sense and not do that. But I just wanted you to see that it's not necessarily their fault. It's not necessarily the lack of creativity that's their problem. Is the lack of acknowledgement from higher powers in a workplace that tends to diminish their worth or doesn't want to see the value that these women bring to the table. So they downplay that and then they pay you less. When it concerns promotion, it's not easy for a woman to get promoted. It's not that easy. It's not, they feel like, okay, let me take for example, okay, let me say a bank, for example, or any institution that has president and vice president position. I don't know how many women would be the president and a man would be the vice president. I don't know who stated it, that the woman must be the vice.
Sharon, you're talking about something different.
It's not something different. I'm telling you how this affects how the woman gains money. This affects how the woman earns money, and then money is really crucial in politics. This is how, okay, this other businessmen, this other politicians that are male, where do you think they get their money from? They get their money from their side hustle. What if working in a company is a woman's side hustle and she needs to get paid? She needs to get paid what is hers for her to be able to use that and invest in her political dream. If she's denied a certain privilege, how do you think that woman can?
I don't think that is a limitation, actually. Let's use Mrs. Lillian, for example. Right, she has her own business and she's funding a political race or something. So it doesn't really mean, I think in our current generation right now, the fact that women are not given the chance to do some certain things or to fund whatever they want to do is not really a problem at the moment, because I know a lot of companies that would allow women to be president. As long as you have the capacity, then you can run for it. But I think when it comes to this political space, there's it's still there.
Yeah,
just
it
a little
is.
bit,
and then
I think.
You say companies. We're talking of Nigerian environment, the Nigerian here, not in developed countries.
Yeah, I'm talking about Nigeria.
Okay, there are companies that would, of course, they are, but in comparison to those that won't, it's really not that much.
Yeah,
there are, but in comparison to companies that will give women certain positions, because I can remember even way back in school. I'm going to use a personal experience. Okay, so in school, in secondary school, for example, I was made the head girl of the school, and there was a certain, I can't remember exactly what that was, and they had already decided, the teachers had already met, they had interviewed me, we did this audition, and they said, okay, they were going to, okay, this president, this thing, you are the one in charge. I left. The next day we came back, we heard that they made the head boy the president. The head boy that was not interested though, the head boy didn't do interview, he didn't audition. Why? They just said it wasn't right for a woman to be the president, that it was somehow. So they made him president of that small school organization. So, and it's not been far back that I graduated from secondary school, so it's still in play.
There's something Pika said one time. He said that it doesn't mean that women are not allowed to, you know, rule or come into the space of power, but then it takes extra work
on their part.
Yeah, on their part, right? So maybe men have to do 30%, but women will have to do 80% to get there.
I agree.
Yeah, but it's still in effect, but it's not as intense as it used to be.
Yes. Okay, I think. Do you believe that, Pikachu? Do you believe it's not as intense as it used to be?
I think it's still there.
Okay.
That factor will always be there. It's not something that's going to go overnight. Okay, it's just the degree and the location, geographical location.
Yeah, true.
Okay? So, but that factor, it's a global factor. It's not just a
it is.
Yeah, but this is a different topic that we're talking about here.
Okay, it's true.
Yeah,
consumption to production, right?
So we're talking about equality here now. Okay, that what's good for the goose is good for the gander, right?
Yes.
That's what we're talking about here, equality, and not from consumption to production. Because the point I was trying to say, make with the women being more creative now, it's not just the women. When Peter becomes in, in China, everybody there is thinking production. In China,
it's true.
That's why the world is buying from China.
True.
It's not just Nigeria, Africa, even US is buying from China because it's a producing country, and they have become very creative. When P2B comes up with this initiative and begin to put things in place for it to actually work, you'll find that people will become more creative. The shoe that you go to the market to buy, we just discover that you can make the shoe yourself.
Yes.
Okay. The clothes that you sew, things, different things, even up to technology, even up to phones. We can make phones in Nigeria. It's possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay.
Actually.
So it's with the candidacy of someone like P2B now that will begin to see these things, and our eyes will begin to open to what we can achieve.
That's why I really like the candidacy of Mr. P2B, because other people will say, oh, okay, there's going to be an all-inclusive government, but when you check their past record, you can't really see that in play. But Mr. P2B has done that, did that, will do that. Okay, we're going to be talking about how when this happens, by God's grace, when Mr. P2B wins the presidential election and he starts to implement the consumption to production, let's look at how, when it concerns women, let's look at how that will affect the dynamics of a home. Will it shift the other in a family? Okay, now let's go back to, everything is intertwined, everything is linked. So I'm not going to dive too far. Okay, let's look at culture in Nigeria and how it's predominantly men that are the sole breadwinners. In Nigeria, we do not have we don't have a partnership, we don't have this partnership system between the man and the woman when it concerns providing for a home. Most times, I won't say most times because I don't know the statistics now, because a lot of families now have where the man is bringing in and the woman is bringing in as well. But in some families, we see that it's the man that is predominantly the breadwinner, the sole breadwinner of that family. Now,
in some it's the women.
Yes, exactly. It's still women. So let's look at the families where the man is the sole breadwinner of the family, and the woman is, because of Mr. P2B, is now able to partake in
providing.
Yes, she's able to not just provide per se, because the man would want to, do most part of the provision and everything. She is now able to partake in, if she has any political dream, contesting for political positions, engaging and involving personally in political position. Do you think that will change the dynamics of an average Nigerian home? Do you think it will change anything?
Yeah, I do think it will. I just want to be positive because everything is possible, especially when Peter Obi becomes the president.
Yeah.
And the fact is, Peter Obi will empower women.
Okay.
But the problem now is if the men will accept. Because as the husband and your wife tells you that I want to become the senator, or I want to become this. Because to be honest, the people that I see, the women that I see becoming or vying for the post of senator and all, they are most times widows. I'm sorry, they're not, I don't want to sound harsh, but then not all of them, or based on the ones I've seen, they're sometimes widows. It's as if the husband is not there to stop them, or I don't know. But what do you have to say about that?
You know, I just when you mentioned widows, I remember Peter Bill's mom. She's a widow. What's her name? Mrs. Agnes Obi. And okay, let's dive into what happened to her after she lost her husband, Mr. Josephat, in 1968. Okay, so you know Mr. Peter B's father was doing well. He had a supermarket in Onitsha of that time. Big things were going on then, and he died when Mr. Peter B was less than 7 years old. And after he died, things just, I know they were coming back from that civil war, so things just went from 100 to 0 real quick. And it was Mrs. Agnes Obi that had to start from, it seemed as if she was starting from scratch all over again to build that empire. And she started doing things. This woman built their family house that they lived in as of that time. She did a whole lot of things. The supermarket, she was managing it and it was growing. And you know, you mentioned something about being a widow. So I want to ask you, Pikash, do you think that men stand as stumbling blocks to their wife's political ambitions?
Okay. I don't know any family now presently where the woman is vying for a political position and the husband, I don't know any family like that. But I'm just going to think like a man now. All right.
Let's just imagine Jessica is your wife and she's contesting. And she's contesting for a senatorial position or something.
But in contradictory to what you said. Contrary to what you said, sorry. I don't think all women that are in politics are
based on what I've seen. Right.
I know a lot of politicians, female politicians that are still married.
Oh, really?
Yes, a lot. In Nigeria now. People that are holding positions that are in Nigeria. Like Uche Ekwunife's husband is still there. Doria Koli, when she was minister, her husband just passed on a few months ago.
Aisha Yusufu.
You cannot really call Aisha Yusufu a politician. Yeah, she hasn't held any political office. Yes, you know, so there are so many women like that. Yes, I think there may not really be obstruction that way. Before a woman gets to that point where she's thinking about vying for political office, she must have gone to a certain status, and her husband would have also understood
and seen it.
Exactly. It doesn't just start overnight, okay? Yes, it doesn't just start overnight. These things grow gradually. Everybody you see in any big political office today didn't just climb there, didn't just appear there. They have a history, okay? You grow in politics. So I think that, well, if you marry a wife and you see that she has political ambition, the best you can do is to try to see how you can align and, you know, shaping her to that politician that you expect her to be. So but any man that would want to kill the dream of a woman that intends to go into politics may also be shooting himself in the foot. Yes.
Okay, I think I agree with that.
Yeah,
and we will discuss for that because there are so many questions for you both.
Really?
No, I'm just joking. We're going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll dive further into the topic.
Labour Party, Labour Party, Labour Party, Labour Party, LP, can you get a vote? Labour Party, Labour Party, LP, can you get a vote? Labour Party, Labour Party, Labour say, Mama, Papa, now want to be Labour Party, Mama, Papa, now want. Mama, Papa, now want to be Labour Party. Mama, Papa, now want to be Labour Party.
Mr. Peter Obi's administration built from scratch Chukwuemeka Odumegwu University Teaching Hospital with 25 building structures. His government funded transformation of massive infrastructural development, accreditation of 12 health institutions and 2 hospitals, and also built 10 maternal and childcare centers across the state. He is the first governor to purchase medical equipment worth over 135 million naira and 50 ambulances for the health sector in Anambra State, which remain functional till today. He built and equipped Dr. Jonwilo Heart Center in St. Joseph Hospital, Adazinnuku, where heart operations are performed. Anambra State is the first state in Nigeria to distribute more than 30,000 computers to secondary schools. Mr. Peter Obi distributed about 700 buses to secondary schools in Anambra State and built 200 primary school blocks. He donated the sum of 300 million naira to Anglican churches and 440 million naira to Roman Catholic churches to rehabilitate their missionary schools.
Okay, welcome back from that short break. This is still Obidient Family TV and you're on to Obedient Women. I am Sharon Enemchuku and I'm joined by Mr. P. Cash. I introduced myself for you. And this is Miss Jessica. Okay, so before we get on that break, we were talking about how the consumption to production plan of Mr. P2B is might or might not change or affect the dynamics of an average Nigerian home. So we've already gotten different views from Mr. Pikash and Miss Jessica, and I'm loving that the different insights I'm getting from you both. Okay, so we're going to be diving into the economic part of it all, talking about how consumption to production is going to affect women. If you look at the statistics, it said that 50% women represent 50% of the Nigerian population. And if at this point 50% of the Nigerian women are not producers, then it means that half of Nigerian population are not producing actually. So when women are more producers, when women are producing, when women are into production, then of course I believe that is going to not only boost the economy, but it's going to take Nigerian economy to another level. So I'm going to be dissecting on the economy aspect of it a little bit more. We just came back from how it's going to affect the family. And I remember you saying something, Pikachu. You said that women, not just women, but men too, will be more creative when Mr. P2B starts implementing the consumption to production. Now we're going to look at when he was the governor of Anambra State and what he did for our economy. We know how Innocent Motors, how Mr. P2B supported Innocent Motors and where Innocent Motors is right now, which also boosted the economy of Anambra State. So today we're going to be looking at the economy. What do you think that we already have different jobs, right? We have men that are into oil production, we have men that are into tech, men that are into imports and exports. Where do you see women coming in this aspect? Do you think that they are going to, do you think they're going to bring something different to the table, or do you think they're going to maybe go with the status quo and then also increase our economy from there?
Yes, there is a phrase that says, what a man can do, a woman can do better.
You subscribe to that?
Yes, I subscribe to that.
Okay.
Yes, if anybody can do great at anything, actually, as long as you're a human being and you have a mind and a willing spirit, okay, there is nothing that is impossible for you to achieve. It doesn't matter whether you're male or female. We have the same brains, okay? God gave us the same opportunities. So it just depends on what you believe as a person. If you think that because you are a woman and then you cannot achieve what men are achieving, then you limit yourself by yourself. That's the first limitation that you have, even before the society throws its own weight at you. So it depends on the person, okay? It depends on the person, and I believe that, just like I stated earlier, that women can achieve anything that they put their mind to. Now, so talking about the consumption to production plan of Mr. P2B, I don't think he's going to say, okay, we're producing this or we're planning to have this factory or whatever, and there will have to be a certain number of women.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if he's going to do that. Okay. But I think women should just aspire to get involved in any way they can, whether it's in oil production, even groundnut oil and red oil production. It's a big business.
Yes,
we can actually be exporting palm oil
crayfish
across the country, across the world. Okay, even ugu, even leaves, and so many things that we can be exporting. Okay, so women should just aspire to get involved in P2B's plans, and we with the revolution that we are seeing now, it's going to be. It's going to be appalling and very embarrassing for women to just go back after maybe P2B wins his election.
And everybody's relaxing.
And everybody just relaxes and expects him to perform the magic, okay? It's still our responsibility to ensure that we hold him responsible for this manifesto and that he implements everything that is written in it, okay? And the inclusion, women inclusion in government and all of that, it has to reflect. We have to see that he is actually implementing this manifesto. And we have to hold him accountable, okay? So it's a call to all Nigerians, women and men as well, to get ready, okay? We have to be involved. This is not a time to just leave the thing for the leaders.
No.
We have to be involved and make sure that our country works for our good.
Okay, thank you very much. That was
I really want to add
insightful.
to what Pika said. I also want to say that women, especially Nigerian women, we are hardworking.
We are.
We are, like, naturally. But then I also want to point out that women are natural caretakers. So Peter Obi understands this, and he has done it before. So you mentioned that you're thinking, or you're just hoping that Peter Obi keep to his words. I don't think we should be afraid of all of these things because he has done it before, so definitely he's going to do it again. So women coming in place to help the economy of Nigeria is something that other countries have done, and it has increased, you know, the economy and all of those things. So I don't think it's something to be worried about.
No.
Yeah, Peter Obi knows exactly what he wants to do.
And he's going to do it and do it
definitely.
well. Okay, let's take a look at the present government and their lack of female representation. You know, there was one time last year when some women in power women went to meet, they wrote a bill, they passed a bill that there should be 111 seats, if I'm not mistaken, that should be left for women in the assembly. 111 seats that should be particularly made for women. And they rejected the bill. The present government rejected the bill. What do you have to say about that?
Okay, yes, I heard about it, okay, and this is Africa.
Okay.
This is Nigeria. It's possible for this thing to happen probably in Netherlands or Switzerland, okay? And they say, okay, this number of seats, this quota is left for women. Okay, only women can aspire to these positions, okay? But this is Africa, and men by their nature, even though it's a global thing, but it's worse in Africa, okay? They are domineering. They want to be in charge. We want to be in charge. We want to be in control.
Nobody said me.
I'm just telling you the mentality, especially this men in power. No man, he would rather fall for a man than to fall for a woman.
That's true. That's true.
A man would rather give in to a fellow man than to give in to a woman because of that pride. Okay? So there's no way the Senate, which is led by a man, the Senate president is a man, the vice is a man, and you expect that kind of bill to pull through.
And it's not even small, 111 seats.
It's not possible.
Okay.
It's not possible.
What do you have to contribute to that, Jessica?
I don't know, but then I feel like, first of all, why is it not possible?
Good question.
Yeah, why is it not possible?
Because
I think right, men have their own capacity. Men are wired differently. There is something in man that is not in a woman.
There's something in a woman that's not in a man.
Definitely. But then it doesn't stop a woman to aspire to become this or that. Women have their own capacity, and not all women. So if you find a woman that has the capacity to do all of these things, why stop her?
Exactly.
Yes.
You said something that you're not sure if it's possible, but Mr. Peter B will tell you that a new Nigeria is possible. And a new Nigeria is a Nigeria where women hold key positions in government. And let's take a look at what he did in Anambra State when he was the governor of Anambra State. It was the women representation in his government was actually getting to a point where it seemed like it was just the women that he was working with. His deputy governor was a woman, commissioner for information was a woman, his chief of staff, local government chairperson was a woman. It was just, the representation was very obvious that I think the men started clamoring for representation. So that happened in Anambra State. That happened in one state. If it happened there, of course it can happen on a national scale.
Yes.
So I believe that this new Nigeria that Mr. Peter B is talking about is a new Nigeria where women get to hold key positions in our government. All right, that's nice. And there's something that I jotted down from what you said. You made mention of men being domineering and the pride that men have. And this is true. But when we went back a little, let's go back a little bit to when we were saying that you're not sure if a man would be able to hold back a woman from contesting in any or from pursuing her political dream. Don't you think that this attribute that you mentioned would be one of the things that a man would consider and prevent the woman from contesting in any for any political position?
Okay, yes, it is. It's a factor. But these are for men that are not learned. Okay, men that have character flaws.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Men that are not principled and they are not exposed.
Yeah.
It happens that even when a woman is earning a higher salary than the husband, he feels threatened. Okay. And somehow he still wants to be in charge, even though he knows that the woman is earning more, and he wants to control her money and control how she spends her money. This is a real thing that happens in Nigerian homes. Okay, we cannot take that away. But like I said earlier, this is for men that have character flaws. Probably he has a complex issue. Okay, and men that are not exposed. Okay, but men that are learned knows why it's important to invest in a woman.
Sure.
Okay. And just like our principal would say, that women are less corrupt.
Yes.
They are less corrupt and they would handle the matter even better. Okay? So any wise man would want to allow the woman to spread her wings and, do her thing and live her dreams. And, as long as it doesn't cross moral lines. Okay, as long as you still maintain your morality and dignity, and as long as it's dignified. Yes. So I don't see any reason why a man would want to kill the dream of the woman because of his pride. That would be a very terrible thing to do.
I agree.
Okay, sorry, let me point out something. Okay. But I think there are some educated men that would not also allow these things. Okay,
he said exposed.
Okay, exposed is also
they're not different. They're the same. What am I saying? I think they are different. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that being educated and being exposed are two different things.
Of course.
And there's something my mom would say. She calls Mr. Peter B an African man with a Western character. She says that Mr. Peter B doesn't act Nigerian sometimes.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, someone else said it was it today or yesterday on Diaspora Diary, and how he said that I think it's today. He said that he's not sure if Mr. Peter B is even Nigerian because of some of his characteristics. These things are not, they're not our characters as African people or as Nigerians. So, of course, we know that Mr. Peter B is very exposed. He is also educated. So, of course, he has these two factors on his side. We'll be going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll be looking at another different dimension of how consumption to production affects women.
More than 160 first-class graduates. To promote the reading culture in the state, he went ahead to build a well-equipped library known as Prof. Kennedy DK Library, Oka. He also rehabilitated the divisional library in Onitsha and gave 500,000 naira to each secondary school in the state to provide library materials. This boosted the student performance from the 26th position in Nigeria to the first position. The security improvement was exceptional as he provided security vehicles to 177 communities in the state. He cleared pension and gratuity owed since 1990 to the tune of about 37 billion naira and also paid monthly stipends to the elderly in the state. Mr. Pitobi built the first secretariat complex in Anambra State to house the various Anambra State government ministries that were scattered all over the state. His good governance attracted the second largest brewery in the world, known as Sab Miller, to build their first greenfield facility in the state. He was recognized by the Millennium Development Goals (MDG) as the best governor in the implementation of their programs in Nigeria. Pitobi constructed 2 bridges across the popular Agulu Lake in Anyocha local government area of Anambra State at the cost of 2 billion naira. He funded Agulu Lake Hotel Project, Golden Tulip, and reconstruction of Opa-Iweka bridges at the axis of Enugu-Onitsha Expressway with 6 lanes. Pitobi constructed 800 km of road network between rural and urban areas. Some of the roads include Ibariam Internal Road, Ekulobia Ezinifite Road, Niger Drive Onitsha, Ifite Dunu Road, construction of Zik Avenue.
Okay, welcome back from that short break. We're still here on Obedient Women, and we've been talking extensively on what Pitobi, our principal, has said on consumption to production and how it affects women. And we've agreed to disagree on some aspects, but now because of time, we're actually going to be rounding off. So we're going to just touch a little on the final aspect on how consumption to production will affect women involvement in politics. Let me start from Jessica, because I feel I've been starting from Mr. Pikash a lot. Okay. So Jessica, do you think that the whole consumption to production, how do you see that affecting women's self-esteem?
That's a very nice question. First of all, like I said before, women in Nigeria are not lazy, except our generation, the Gen Zs that just want to eat money. But then...
Not easy to know.
all right, pardon me. But then it's definitely going to increase the self-esteem because money, like there is this thing that money does, right?
Yes, the confidence that money gives.
Yes. So, definitely, I don't think there's any argument to this. So it's just a matter of people who are going to buy to this vision, you know, and follow through with what Peter Obi's agenda, you know.
Is.
Yeah, so definitely.
Definitely. Mr. Pikash?
Yeah, like I said earlier, women, it's left for women to aspire. And,
to perspire, to aspire.
Yes, they should just push themselves. The power lies in your hands. Okay, you can be whatever you want to be if you put your mind to it. I know I can be what I want to be.
Yeah. I'll be what I want to be.
Okay, so that song. I don't know if you Gen Z know that song.
I know that song. But I don't know the lyrics though, but I know.
Okay, so that's it. Women, just go for it, okay? And everything is achievable.
Everything is achievable under the sun, under Pitobi's government, under Pitobi's campaign. Not just campaign, under Pitobi's government. All right, this is going to be the end for today's episode. It's been really exciting. Yes, it's been so interesting getting to hear about really controversial topics because I know we touched some buttons. And I like the way we settled it and how we came to conclusions. So from myself, Sharon Enemchukwu, and
Pikachu
and
Jessica Chinwe,
we say it's a wrap from here. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. It is Obidati Family TV, and follow us on our personal social media platform. I am at Sharon Enemchukwu on all social media platforms.
And I'm at official Pikachu on all social media platforms.
And you can follow me on Instagram, Jessica __ on Instagram, and Facebook, Jessica Chinwe.
All right, thank you very much. We'll see you next time. To have a lovely day, and bye.
Bye.
Thank you.